Hello, it's Christmas time, so it will only make sense to do some Christmas themed video, and why not about the craziest traditions held around the world. Let's get right into it. Our first act sweeps us into the mystical landscapes of Austria and Germany, where the holiday season isn't all sugar plums and fairy lights. Enter Krampus, omnious counterpart to Saint Nicholas, adorned with horns and fearsome demeanor. Every year, on December 5th, the park adores children's houses, with St. Nicholas rewarding well-behaved children, giving them sweets and fruits, while the badly behaved receive punishment from Krampus with birch rot. We can't be really sure where does the origin come from, but we know that the first mentions date back to 7th century AD as a pre-Christian Alpine tradition. In 1932, Krampus tradition was banned by the Austrian fascist regime. The government then distributed a message that said Krampus is an evil man, due to them being scared of influencing children's mental health. At the end of the century, the tradition became more popular than ever, and the spirit of St. Nicholas and Krampus continues to live on. Let's head a bit southwest, more specifically to Catalonia, Spain. In their culture is an odd tradition of object called a kaganar. Kaganar is a figurine wearing traditional Catalan red cap with trousers down showing his bare backside and defecating. The origin of this tradition are the same as Krampus unknown, but it's believed to date back to the 17th century. This thing is used as a decoration in many Catalan homes. Kaganar is probably supposed to symbolize fertilizing the earth, so it works as some kind of a prayer. The best part is that Kaganar isn't the only defecating character in the Catalan Christmas traditions. Another is Tio de Nadal. Tio de Nadal is a log that is being fed by children for several weeks. After being fed by punching it with sticks, it magically produces candy for the kids. Getting back to its origin, Catalonia isn't the only place where you can find defecating characters. Portugal, Italy or France aren't much behind. But here is an interesting story. In 2005 in Barcelona, Kaganar wasn't included in local nativity scene. After many complaints, the government has stated that the Kaganar wasn't included because of the public urinating and defecating being banned, meaning that this little character was now setting a bad example. The Catalonians didn't even thought of letting that slide. Local author wrote a letter that said, "Nativity scene without Kaganar is not a nativity scene." A second writer then suggested by him so-called win-win situation. He suggested including the Kaganar, but also placing a figure of a police officer with a pen and a clipboard next to him, writing a ticket for the infraction. As how ridiculous that may sound, this actually happened, and it's just another example of how can people go crazy about anything. On the other side of the world, in Japan, is a tradition that I believe most of us would welcome with open arms. The tradition was started by Takeshi Okawara, the manager of the first ever KFC in Japan. He then started promoting so-called party barrels fried chicken as a substitute for a traditional American turkey. Because there was no Christmas tradition in Japan, this instantly became a trend. And since 2010s, the Christmas Day special accounts for nearly 5% of annual revenue. At the fourth spot we have Iceland, such a peaceful country with nice people and rich folklore history. An example of its folklore is the Yule cat, a huge vicious cat that eats anybody who doesn't receive any clothing before the Christmas Eve. Sounds ridiculous, right? But if I tell you that the origin of the Yule cat dates back to 1862, when John Aronson described it in one paragraph. Since then, two theories have been proposed. The first one says that the legend of the Yule cat comes out of a footnote by Aronson, which noted the existence of a figure of speech to dress a cat. The second one, put forward by archaeologist Gunnar Olafsson, connects the Yule cat to various entities that, in other European traditions, accompanied previously mentioned Saint Nicholas. The establishment of the Yule cat as a part of a classic Icelandic Christmas culture came mid-19th, when a poetry collection named Julian Goma was published to the public. There was no straight connection between those stories and the Yule cat legend, but another author, Jonathan Urkotlum, was in fact talking about some man-eating monster unknown to mankind. The people then immediately connected it to the Yule cat legend, and stable Christmas tradition was born. Thank you for watching, Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year, and a lot of luck to 2024. Okay, bye.